So we invite the chime to sing as an invitation to arrive fully to this moment. And let's consider it a threshold, this moment. And what's behind us is earlier today. And what is before us is yet to come. So we're going to anchor and ground in the present moment. And we're going to set the intention for our practice today with a sentiment of metta. Metta means loving kindness. And I'd like to share with you this one. This is made by a community member, Sangha member, whose name I'll share with you later. But if you're an artist and you send me art, warning, I'll chop it up into little pieces and I'll write sentiments of metta on the back, like this one. And this one reads, "May you grow rooted like trees. May you grow rooted like trees." Friends, invite a moment of discernment to descend into the heart and mind so that you can meet yourself with a friendly spirit and allow your body to be positioned in comfort and ease. So, as you're meeting yourself, if that means that you'd like to lie down, please do. If your body needs to move, please invite it to do so. If you're on camera, go ahead and turn your camera off. You might need to go for a walk. You might need to stand up and sway. Your body knows what it needs. Your mind and your heart know how to honor the body. And just invite this to be your meditation today and know that that is perfect. And take a deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. For the month of October, we are exploring grounding practices in the Spokane Sangha. And I have taken the liberty of using these 4 weeks and looking at the body vessel in 4 main parts: head, neck, shoulders for this week. Next week, we're going to look at the core of the body. Third week is the hips and the pelvic girdle. And then the last week is to connect with the legs. And I'm also going to be talking briefly about the chakra systems, which is an ancient Hindu exploration of energy within the body that the Buddha was certain to have known. And these are focal points that you can have on the body as a way of cultivating wise concentration. In these chakra systems, the 3 lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, represent the physical state of being. And there are 3 upper chakras: the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown. And these represent the spiritual aspect of being. And the 7th chakra is where the physical and the spirit come together and coalesce and radiate. And that is at the level of the heart. Today, we're going to focus on the crown, the third eye, and the throat. We're also going to focus on our physical heads, our necks, and our shoulders. And all I invite you to do today, friends, is bring a gentle gaze to this part of your body. And notice if the body is sending any bells and whistles to get your attention. Little notes of tension. And it might be helpful to move the shoulders a little bit. You can do some shoulder rolls. You can move your head and neck very, very gently and slowly in circles, or maybe just a gentle stretch side to side. You can keep your eyes closed. Nobody's watching. And every once in a while, bring your attention to the breath. And as your attention is embraced by the companion that is your breath, see if you can bring your awareness to just your nostrils. As you inhale through the nostrils and exhale either through the mouth or through the nostrils. The throat, friends, the throat chakra. In the Buddhist practice, this is a place of wise speech. And it is also the place for wise listening, because the throat chakra is intimately connected to our ear systems. And what I'd like to pay particular attention to is asking ourselves, did I just hear the way I spoke to myself, especially if the way we're talking to ourselves is diminishing, judgmental, shaming? You know, many of us, one of our habit energies is we have an inner critic that we give a lot of power to. We allow that inner critic in the driver's seat of our lives, and we almost never take the time to really question their presence. I know in my own inner critic, I often let this inner critic, go off road and just bounce around my life, my mind and my heart, my spirit, trampling all over the place, telling me things, saying things I would never utter to another living being. And yet I give myself so much permission to speak in such unethical, unskillful ways toward myself. And so it's important to ask myself every once in a while, Julia, darling, did you just hear what you said? And then we can bring forward that beautiful instrument of peace that goes, huh, Would you look at that? What did I just say? And in that moment, in that little inquiry, we create a little space, a little pause, a moment to be fully present to ourselves. I can be fully present to myself and say, okay, inner critic, is what you just said, in all your harshness and all your negativity, true? Because it could be. It might actually be true. And I guarantee it's not the whole truth. And then we can ask, what else is true? And listen. This is how we can bring attention to the throat chakra. This is how we can use that energy to work with our own minds and our own habits. And by the way, you're also engaging that third eye. That is the place of great creativity, insight, dreaming, wonder. And then the crown chakra, top of the head. One of the things I love about contemplating the crown, the very top of my head, there are two things I like to consider. One is I can't see it, it's just up there doing its thing. And yet it is faithfully sheltered under infinite space. It is my connection to the cosmos. It is my connection to all things mysterious, unknown. And so it is imperative for me as a creative person and as a passionate person to keep my crown chakra soft and open, to stay curious so that my mind doesn't become rigid or fixed. And when it does act in a rigid, fixed way, I can go back to the throat and I can start asking questions and listen deeply to the answers that might be coming from outside of me. Our sentiment of Metta Friends was to root like trees. Trees root into the unseen world of the earth, and they also root, if you will, in the seen aspect and element of the air, only we call those roots branches. But they root in mirror images of one another. And so if you can imagine your own body like a tree, your head reaching, branching, so much space, all those leaves as little ideas floating around, you can be rooted, anchored, reaching, branching, just like a tree, solid, supple, a refuge. friends. We're grounding in this generalized way as a gentle reminder that as a whole human being, you are so much more than just your habit energy. The composition of you is so much more than your cravings, your regrets, your unskillful actions, your recurrences, and so on. You and I are also our strength, our curiosity and creativity, our capacity for radiance and presence, joy, love, and our skillful devotion to awe. We are, each of us, whole human beings. In the eyes of the divine, we never have been, nor shall we ever be, a mistake. Can you ground in these words? Can you soften to this wisdom? Can you open to its guidance? This is the practice. Let's end our practice today with an inhalation that invites our shoulders to rise all the way up to our ears. And then as you exhale, just let it all relax and see if a little mischievous smile can come across your face. Maybe lift your eyebrows with curiosity. See what comes alive for you. Thank you, friends. And we'll end our practice with a dedication of merit. In the Buddhist tradition, there's something called the Four Noble Reminders. And the first is that you have a precious human life. It is a rare thing to be alive, to be human, to be able to assign meaning to your experience, to recognize consciousness, to cultivate awareness, to use our errors and our failures as fodder and fertility for our own growth. We were created for this work, and we experience enormous encouragement and nurturance in the communion and connection of Sangha, community. I want to thank you for your practice today, your impeccability. I want to thank you for being exactly as you are. And I encourage you to take today's experience and bring it into your day. And may you radiate this presence, this collective soul, and may your radiance meet someone who's struggling. In fact, we can ripple it out now into the world and touch people who are in jail and prison, touch people who are in the hospital and in treatment centers, touch people who are in their apartments, doors locked, curtains drawn, windows closed, isolated. For anybody who is surviving on the streets, anybody who's living in their car, to anyone who is feeling lonely and lost. May the spirit of this collective soul find them, embrace them, give them a light of hope to come home to their true selves. May you take shelter under the gaze of the divine and know that you are so well loved. Thank you, friends. Namaste.